I'm not aware that the present administration would want to commemorate that event because the PPP was largely responsible for the outbreak of violence, and they might wish to forget a lot of what happened.
That was former President David Granger, who appeared on the weekly show Ananse Web Education over the weekend. The event Granger was referring to was the 1964 Son Chapman explosion. Often called the period of disturbances, 1964 was known as a year of intense criminal violence, which resulted in the murders of scores of victims, most of whom were persons of African descent. The former president sought to draw the nexus as to why Afro-Guyanese villages were the target of multiple murders during the disturbances. He attributed the strike by the Ghana Agriculture Workers Union in the year 1964 as being one of the reasons.
But when Dr. Jagan came back from the conference where this decision was made, he declared a hurricane of protest from January 1964. And this hurricane of protest was the trigger for extreme violence.
Granger said on the surface it was not a political struggle, but when the Ghana Agriculture and General Workers Union, GAWU, called a strike, some sugar workers came out. He added that those who did not attend were attacked.
What started to happen, what started out as a strike, really was a means of preventing the PR elections from being held in December 1964. And of course, people started to suffer, and it was certainly led by the PPP, which called this hurricane of protest. The strike started on the West Demerara at Leonora factory, at Leonora estate, and that is why much of the violence at first was in West Demerara.
The year 2024 will mark the 60th anniversary of the disturbances, which erupted in February 1964. On the 6th of July 1964, an explosion occurred at Burundi on a launch named Son Chapman, which was taking goods and passengers, the majority of them Africans, from Georgetown to Wismar. About 38 persons perished in this disaster. The echo of the Son Chapman disaster was immediately felt at Mackenzie when 5 East Indians were murdered and 7 seriously injured. Renata Burnette reporting for the HGP Nightly News.